know we finally made it. Welcome back, everyone. Today starts the next venture in this class into the different classes of beings in the world that you may come across in your adventures. We're actually going to start with beings that I hope you never come across in your time on this world, which are aberrations. Now, aberrations are monsters that come from somewhere other than the material world that we inhabit, from other planes or even other universes. We can still presume that they're evolved, although the conditions they've evolved may be very different from our own, and that they still behave in ways that further their own survival, no matter what alien thought process they may possess. These alien beings travel to the material plane from places like the far realm. Quite a few lurk in the Underdark too, which in some cases is an alien world of its own. The quintessential aberrations are aboleths, beholders, illithids, and sladi. However, we will cover a bit more than that. These alien entities each seek domination in the material plane through different means, but one thing is common, that the specialized environments they create for themselves. It stands to reason any aberrations begin to affect the world around them with the weird alien energies they emanate from the weave. In a way, aberrations are just that. It's a departure from what is normal, usual, or expected, typically one that is unwelcome in relation to the weave. These monsters are simply physical glimpses into the weave itself. Like a cancer, they twist and warp their surroundings to function in a way that only helps them grow. There are areas of the world that our governments and powerful armies are combating currently to control these beings and stop their spread. Now, on a much smaller level, aberration activity in a singular localized area might fester in the wilderness while those living nearby remain unaware of the threat. Imagine something like a dank cave or a murky swamp. Deep within, conditions for aberration activity emerge. Neogi, hatchlings, slud, tadpoles, or star spawn grua bubble up through a festering portal and taint the surrounding area. A sense of foreboding or dread surrounds the area, and people living nearby begin to avoid the place. Left unchecked, the danger is going to grow, and those large areas of aberration infestation have got to start somewhere, right? So regardless of the scale of aberrations in the world, knowledge of their existence and presence affects perceptions and beliefs of those who live in the world, us. Since we're aware and know with absolute certainty that these alien entities not only exist, but infest certain areas, it changes how we view the world in general. Most of this is tied back to the beginnings of the school in which you sit currently. Goswin Weber was present at the opening of the weave to this world. There had been some leaks across, and magic was new in the world at that time. In fact, magic users or those with access to the weave were considered abominations and were regularly rounded up and executed for their blasphemy. Weber was one of those, except he did escape the executed part. However, the Balladmore family at that time was torn between hating and caring for the magic users. There were others who used magic who hated the Balladmores for their treatment toward them, and it finally came to a head. One of the members of the oppressed minority of mages and a true feminist icon smashed the patriarchy with a poetic curse that turned the oppressors into what they claimed she was, a monster. Now, of course, despite the orc race beginning as a curse, they have blossomed into their own race with their own cultures and beliefs and have become incorporated into the greater society of the world and should no longer be looked at through this antiqued lens. Weber, having seen the rift and the changes it caused, was not terrified as many were around him. Even though the battles and wars of the political and violent varieties that followed this massive change in the world, Goswin Weber continued to explore this magic, learning to harness it in a safer way. He created the terms the weave and discovered spells and ways to harness this new energy. Along with the 5 dragons that formed the church, Weber formed this school with the idea that magic was a good entity in the world and could change it in beneficial ways that could only have been imagined at the time. The school was formed with the names of those schools named after the dragons: Velomachus Lorehold, Galazeth Prismari, Tanazir Quandrix, Shadrix Silverquill, and Elders Witherbloom. Weber and the dragons in the beginning simply created a safe haven for those who were interested in magic to learn. He made deals with the local governments to buy land for the Biblioplex. At the time, magic users were forced to stay on this campus. They were torn from their families and left at the school for Weber to take care of. At first, this was an agreement between the governments and Weber. Weber would take the magic users, and the government didn't have to continue to slaughter them. But as magic suffused into the world and more individuals had a connection with the weave, it became impossible for the school to contain every magic user. The Serrano Revolution of 450 was a major change in the world. The Church of the Six Dragons had only been built for about 50 years. Magic was widespread, but still very much considered a curse for the lower caste of society. As tensions boiled over, the massacre of 448 led to the revolution that overthrew the government and established magic as a normal part of society. From there, magic exploded all across the world. The college expanded and began to specialize, offering more than just certificates, but creating master's and doctorate's degrees and portions of magic that had never been seen before. The college has always been a focus of magic and continues to be a major player in the world. Further, Weber Haven contains a snarl inside the Biblioplex. I'm sure most of you have interacted with it at this point. I think it's a search and find item during your first days of school, but anyway, see, the weave is not just a flat fabric covering everything like snow. No, it's twisted, it's swirling, it's knotted in places. These knots and tangles are called snarls, and at these places, spells can be amplified or distorted in unpredictable ways. Similarly, there are gravity-defying arch shapes that appear throughout the world, and one happens to tower over the Biblioplex, which is why I think Weber chose this location to build his college. These star arches, as they're called, are made from spokes of natural materials that float in an arch shape with a precise inner curve and a rough, irregular outer arch. They can stand straight or they can lie at an angle. They can be small or absolutely enormous. They can be whole, broken, grown over, or mysteriously clean. Their irregular spokes evoke the radiating lines of a shining star. The star arches are a mystery, left over from the birth of the tear that opened the world to the weave. In most cases, the arches simply float inexplicably, silent, immovable, and inert. But many people report seeing an arch appear to them in a critical juncture of their lives, helping them understand a lesson or answer a burning question in their mind. Some scholars believe each arch marks a place of great magic, such as the site of a great mage's birth or the location of a time-lost spell. Other folk believe these arches are connected with the archaic in some way. Some students have seen an arch come to life with magic in an archaic's presence. Both snarls and star arches are subjects of magical research for students and faculty here at Weber Haven, who also study wild and dead magic zones, floating earth modes, and other weird locales. Maybe the star arches and snarls are in their own way related to aberrations. Where aberrations grow and consume, maybe these other knots in the weave grow and flourish. A world populated by aberrations brings with it a healthy dose of paranoia. Say what you will about bandits, warlords, corrupt nobility, and selfish common folk. At least you aren't monsters from another dimension with beyond understanding. When you consider incredibly dangerous aberrations like aboleths and mind flayers, they might have minions living among you. A person enslaved by an aboleth falls completely under their sway. And in the case of mind flayers, they might just completely replace your brain with an intellect devourer. Over time, cultures and societies have developed habits, quirks, superstitions, influenced by the aberrations lurking in the world. Protections against such creatures have become highly valued, making something as simple as a protection from evil and good spell a powerful defense. Prominent organizations have emerged, dedicated against these alien incursions. We had a few students graduate and work in Serrano in the military wing, the Department of Eldritch Inquisition, or the DEI, or continued in government as scryers or high-level magicians, monitoring known aberrations and their spheres of influence. How many aberrations spill over into the world where they tend to amass, and what they do while they're here is the main focus of the scryers. These aberrations require specialized heroes to really gain the upper hand against these monsters. They rely on a lot of charmed and frightened conditions, madness, psychic damage, poison, and generally a lot of attacks and abilities requiring targets to make plenty of saving throws of all kinds of sorts. There are plenty of features that one could gather, but pound for pound, there is a reason most of the DEI are paladins. Their auras provide fantastic protection against a lot of the bizarre effects, and the Oath of Devotion in particular can bring a lot to the table. So all that being said, what do we know about the characteristics of aberrations? Whatever their specific origin, the great aberration races share several common characteristics, even if they are unrelated physically. While there exist other creatures that are evil masterminds that are hateful in nature or that are unspeakably human, few combine these traits in the same way that the dangerous aberrations of the world do. Not all aberrations possess all of the following characteristics, but most possess these traits to at least some degree. Firstly, they are sinister masterminds. They are all extraordinarily intelligent, perceptive, and strong-willed. While individual humanoids might match a particular aberration in intellect, wisdom, or force of personality, only a handful of humans possess the overall mental strength of a typical aboleth or mind flayer. Only the most powerful of wizards come close to the vast lore and incisive logical capability of an exceptional aberration. Not only do aberrations possess the natural gift of mental strength, but they have also amassed tremendous amounts of lore and learning. The great aberration races understand that knowledge is power. For generations, we know they gather knowledge in any form, confident that their efforts will be rewarded with unmatched magical or psionic power. This frightful intelligence means that aberrations are masterful schemers, patient and subtle. They routinely contemplate complex and subtle plans requiring lifetimes to unfold. Their plans have few weaknesses, and they anticipate the exact moment at which an enemy is likely to become aware of their plots and what course of action the enemy is likely to take in response. Master aberrations are far more likely to ambush or trap a would-be attacker than be surprised by their foes. As masterminds with the natural ability to dominate or enslave their minions, aberrations surround themselves with a cadre of the most useful guards, slaves, and agents they can find. Brutes such as minotaurs, trolls, ogres, or even giants guard their outposts and layers of master aberrations. Humanoid adventurers are captured, turned into spies or assassins, and sent back into the land above to gather information for their sinister masters and to strike against those who would oppose the dark influence of the aberrations. Better yet, a few whispered rumors or carefully planned leaks of fabricated evidence might turn a company into the unwitting servants of the unseen masters without a single confrontation. Countering a plot of a master aberration is rarely as simple as finding a lair and attacking it. First, one would somehow need to discern the presence of a faceless enemy that moves in the shadows, manipulating other creatures in the same way that a chess master moves his pieces. Then one would need to fight their way through ranks of dupes, underlings, and mind slaves, some of whom might not even realize they serve a master aberration. They must pierce layers of secrecy, lies, and false leads planted by a brilliant and patient antagonist. And then finally, one must confront their inhuman foe in a time and place of the aberration's choosing, since the master aberration observes their efforts against its underlings and dispassionately determines the best way to exercise its own terrible power to end the threat those individuals pose to its agenda, whatever that may be. Secondly, they're inimical to nature. Aberrations have no place in the natural order of things. They are interlopers, invaders, creatures whose presence damages the fragile chains of being that define the natural world. A monster such as a churl is more than a large and voracious predator. It's an affront to nature. Nothing in nature feeds on a churl, and nothing in nature possesses the instincts or behavior to avoid the thing. Its depredations, if allowed to continue unchecked, eventually lead to populate a wide swath of territory, destroying all normal fauna in its vicinity. Aberration civilizations are even more dangerous to the natural order. Master aberrations see no value in any kind of natural state. All things are theirs to manipulate or defile as they seem appropriate. Wise yet, some aberrations actively seek to corrupt or alter their environs, to suit their tastes and needs. Armed with ruthless intellects, powerful magic, and absolute amorality, master aberrations see no reason not to warp natural creatures into guardian monsters for their dens, create magic plagues to drive off inconvenient neighbors, or spread foliage poisonous to all other creatures across the forest to provide themselves with a better environment. As despoilers and corruptors of the natural world, aberrations have earned the unending enmity of druids. Aberrations seek to pervert the natural world to their own purposes, perhaps deliberately. Most aberrations dwell deep underground, where few druids contest their depredations. Thirdly, they are inhuman. Creatures such as beholders or mind flayers are certainly evil in the traditional sense. They're rapacious, greedy, self-serving, ambitious, murderous, and utterly unscrupulous. They are not necessarily malicious, however, since they do not commit evil acts simply for the sake of doing evil. Instead, master aberrations regard themselves as exempt from any lesser racist notions of morality or decency. A mind flayer would argue that notions such as good and evil are simply relativistic, self-determined, ultimately pointless exercises in justifying strength or weakness to oneself. If you regard destroying a sentient creature for your own sustenance as evil, then how is the mind flayer to regard itself as defined by your ideas on the subject? It must eat to survive, after all, and surviving clearly can't be an evil when all things desire survival. Beyond the question of their amorality, master aberrations regard themselves as innately superior to all other beings, as they are created of the weave. They don't just have a connection to it. Their potent physical, magical, and psionic gifts clearly give them the power to behave as they please toward others who lack similar gifts. Why adopt a set of ethical restrictions that would interfere with the exercise of power in whatever fashion seems most useful and necessary at the time? Aberrations have no better nature. They don't have a good side, no sense of justice or propriety to which a captive might hope to appeal. The evil of a master aberration is clinical, detached, and brutally logic. Cold and unemotional creatures see no value in the emotional arguments or wishes of lesser creatures, and things without value are not considered when action is required. Finally, their lore is perilous. We should always be thankful to those who have come before us and studied these beings, those who risked their own lives and minds to help create a safer world for us now. Learning too much about an aberration is dangerous in the extreme. Not only do the aberrations themselves object to any attempt to study their secrets, the actual results of the effort are injurious to the humanoid psyche. No mage sleeps better after learning the language of the aboleths, mastering spells devised by mind flayers, or exploring the alchemical science of the Grell. These are things that humanoids were never meant to know. In order to truly comprehend some artifact of a master aberration's mentality, its language, its magic, its own comprehension of the mundane world, it's necessary to absorb concepts and symbologies that are drastically at variance with human norms. The more one studies these things, the more difficult it is to set aside these concepts and return to normal modes of thought and speech. Eventually, it becomes impossible. Insanity, at least as humans define it, is lost altogether. As tempting as it might be to study the mighty spells or psionic powers of the mind flayers, these things carry a terrible risk for the reckless mage or scion. The best thing to do with an aberration spell book or power stone is to bury it someplace where it will never see the light of day again. In general, the more atypical the creature's origin, the less healthy it is to know too much about it. Creatures such as these are frightening, but do not normally threaten one's reason. On the other hand, creatures spawned in especially inimical places or times, previous universes, the far realm, the worlds around distant stars, are more dangerous. The information in these lectures was collected by thousands of mages, druids, and paladins who put their lives on the line to gather what they could learn to help protect our world. None of these people ultimately survived their touches with the inhuman without some sort of scar, physically, mentally, or emotionally. It should be noted that in no way should anyone in this class go out and search for these aberrations. What I am teaching you in these lectures are about what we learned from these beings, about the nature of the weave and our own magical capabilities. They are to warn you and to help you in a situation in which you somehow come across one of these beings. About the only consistent things aberrations share outside of the four major points are that they hate mortals, they hate the gods, and use psychic powers and mental manipulation to create thalls and cults. I'm going to cut this lesson just a touch short. We're going to jump right in with aboleths on our next class. So we'll start diving right in after that. So our last session focused on the mourning of the frog, whose name I cannot remember.
Tobias
Johansson. Johansson, that's right. The son of Johann. Who is Johann? Oh,
another frog, probably.
I would assume so. Hey, it's 2023. You don't know who your parents are?
He did a DNA test. That's cool.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Other than that, a couple people are going to go see some spiritual people about spiritual things
that are missing. I know.
They are the two people that are not here. Yeah, you're correct. So before we dive into our next little arc here, I have everything set up and ready to go. While you're on campus over these next few days, is there anything that your characters would have wanted to do? Anything at all? Are you wanting to go shopping for something? I'm allowing shopping. And the only reason I'm allowing shopping now is because Chat GPT has changed my life when it comes to creating stores and things that are in those stores.
Ooh.
Nice.
Can I go shopping just for the hell of it?
Yeah, what do you want?
I don't know. What does ChatGPT got for me?
Well, I already have two stores that are made up. One is the Mystic Emporium. It's a one-stop shop for all your spellcasting needs. And then the other one is the one that you're going to go to. It's the, gosh, I wrote so much on this one. Arcane Tomes, a haven for aspiring wizards and magical enthusiasts. Specializing in vast collection of magical books and tomes that cater to wizards of all levels.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah, I figured.
I'll tag along.
Okay. So Arcane Tomes is a charming two-story shop adorned with intricate magical symbols and shelves filled with countless books. The ground floor houses the main showroom featuring neatly organized bookshelves, display tables, and comfortable reading nooks. And the second floor hosts a private study area and consultation chambers for personalized magic advice. They carry the following products: spell books, ranging from beginner level incantations to advanced arcane rituals, grimoires, delve into the world of ancient magic, contain esoteric knowledge, obscure rituals, and forgotten incantations, enchantment manuals for enhancing weapons and armor, and then potion recipe books, which are pretty self-explanatory, magical theory and history, and then rare and forbidden tomes. Mostly the rare ones. They put the forbidden on there because it sounds cooler.
That'd be fair.
As well as the books that they serve, they also have some services, personalized consultations, where their knowledgeable staff, experienced in various magical disciplines, is available. Whether you seek advice on spell selection, magical research, or general guidance, they will be delighted to assist you. There's also a book rental program, which allows students and wizards to borrow books for a specified duration. It's particularly beneficial for those who wish to explore different magical subjects without committing to purchasing. And then there are some magical events and workshops that are available. You walk in, and a man who looks like a goat is behind the counter and says, "Welcome in."
Hello.
Hello.
Anything you're looking for in particular?
I mean, not particularly.
All
Like,
right.
maybe some stuff for, you got anything like specifically in the glass manipulation fields? That's kind of niche, but I don't know. This seems like a niche spot.
No. There's actually quite a bit. Yeah, it's going to be in like DIY section.
Yeah.
He pulls up a book and slaps it down on the counter in front of him. He said, "Give me just a second. I think we do have something here." And he says, "Aha, I got it." He goes out from behind the counter. He's like, "Come on with me," and he leads you kind of back a little bit. Oh my gosh.
Did Jara come with us? This feels like a very Jara location.
Yeah, I don't think she would miss it.
Okay. I feel like we just turn around, she's gone, and we don't see her for 3 weeks.
Is there any kind of like Dewey Decimal System in place here that would
Oh no, not at all. dude.
find by subject? No, you can only talk to the greatest of all time at the desk.
Yeah, there's a book that we keep. Who's Dewey and what's a
Oh.
disc?
Well, that was Andrew speaking to the DM, but yeah, is there any sort of reference system you have? So I could shop around a bit.
Yeah, it's the big book. We also recommend just looking around generally.
Okay, that doesn't help me much with the top shelves, but
Oh
I'm sure there's
no,
plenty
no,
down
no,
here.
no, don't worry about that, dude. Don't worry about that, little dude. You if you go up by the front counter, there's a couple of step stools. Just grab one and carry it with you, set it down, and basically reach for the book you want, and it'll right up to you.
Oh, she needs one of those.
Wait, the step stool does that?
Yeah.
How
It's
much
like
for
the
one of those?
I mean, you can buy one at like IKEA. It's not really that expensive.
Oh, you guys want to go to
Directions to the
IKEA
nearest
after
IKEA,
this?
please.
You want to go to IKEA? I've built an entire IKEA.
Fantasy IKEA.
Yeah, I heard Dewey works there.
I think
Okay.
he's building a fantasy IKEA.
I could so build a fantasy IKEA, but I'm not going to.
Tell ChatGPT that you have a game to run.
So he leads you to the back to a DIY section, and there are 4 books that he points out. He kind of pulls them off the counter and hands them to the small little table in the middle of the aisles. So this is unfortunately all we have on glass blowing, but it should cover just about anything you needed to know. The books that you have laying in front of you is the first is The Art of Arcane Glasscraft, Mastering the Manipulation of Magical Glass. It's by various authors, as it says. The next one is Prisms of Power, Harnessing Elemental Energies Through Glass, which is written by Archmage Caladria Flameheart. Glassweaver's Grimoire, Secrets of Enchanted Glass Artifacts by Master Glass Weaver Ronaldo Starfrost. And then lastly, The Illusionist's Prism, Unraveling the Secrets of Glass Illusions by illusionist Seraphina Moonshade.
Yeah, I'd spent a lot of time here.
To give you a little bit of depth into what they are, The Art of Arcane Glasscraft, as you open up the covers and you read the inside sleeve, it is a captivating and comprehensive guidebook dedicated to the intricate art of magical glass manipulation. Mainly authored by Professor Aveline Windrider, the book delves into the enchanting realm of glass-based spells, techniques, and creations. Within the pages of the book, aspiring glass mages and curious wizards will embark on a journey of discovery, exploring the limitless possibilities of glass as a medium for arcane expression. The Prisms of Power focuses specifically on the intersection of glass manipulation and elemental magic. It explores in-depth techniques, rituals, and spells that allow them to channel and shape elemental energies through enchanted glass. Glassweaver's Grimoire is a comprehensive guide dedicated to the creation and enchantment of glass artifacts. It reveals advanced glass weaving techniques, spell formulas, and incantations to infuse glass objects with a wide range of magical properties. And finally, The Illusionist's Prism delves into the art of glass-based illusions and illusions created with glass, exploring the manipulation of light, reflections, and refractions through glass, enabling illusionists to create stunning visual illusions and perceptual distortions. there is more that I can go into. More detail, I should say. But while we're here in the bookstore, York, what kind of books are you looking for?
I go up to the guys like, hey, so asking for a friend, of course. Do you have any books that could potentially help the next to no skill user be able to use magic?
Oh, dude, yeah, we got tons. I'm gonna give you. You know what, man? Let me just follow me back here. I think so. Are you looking at like how do you like get into magic? Like how do you use it? How do you
So
like-
I got a lot of theory books. So I got that material. I'm trying to see if you have anything that may magically enhance in some way to just give the user a little boost potentially.
Yes. I actually I know exactly the book you need. It used to be a like required reading when they first started the school, like a few years back. It's an
Okay,
old
okay.
book, but they have newer versions of it.
Sure.
I think they're on their 8th edition now. We got the newest one, so let's go back here. So he grabs a book off of the shelf. It's rather large, pretty thick. It's kind of like a textbook in appearances. And he hands it to you, and it's called Awakening the Inner Spark, Unleashing Hidden Magical Potential.
Ooh, Spark, perfect.
Yeah. And it can go into a lot of detail on providing practical tools, inspirational anecdotes, and transformative exercises to unlock hidden depths of one's magical potential. So it's kind of, he talks to you, he tells you it's kind of like a step-by-step process more than it is a theory process.
Sure.
If you already understand what the magic is or what magic is, then this book will help you learn how to harness it a little bit better.
Sweet. Yeah.
We actually, a lot of people that use it tend to go into arts in a more of actually your dude, your friend that you came in with, he'd probably like this book too, because it kind of helps you learn how to control the forms of different kinds of magics, essentially. So
Well, sweet. Well, I know we're in the same class, so that works out. So-
yeah, that's a really good one. There's a few other books that we have, but I think that's probably the one that you're going to have the most use out of.
Yeah, I also have one other thing, potentially if you have it. So I know they did studies on the, Balladmore Echo, and I wanted to see from an outside source of what they think that is. I was wondering if you had any copies of that study.
There's been some writings on it. Let me get back to you on that one and see if we have anything in particular on that subject. I'm pretty sure we do. I just don't know if any of them are about the actual. Are you looking for like the history of it or the explanation for why it's a thing?
I have plenty of textbooks on, from the actual Balladmore side of how they saw it, but I know there were trying to be studies of people trying to understand it, and I know they were having issues with that, but I was just trying to see an outside perspective that might be helpful. Essentially. So I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, let me look
no
around
reason
and
to be
see.
mad, but like, so I mean, I'm a Balladmore and I'm having issues with this, so I was trying to see from the outside perspective, maybe I can get a better grasp of it from a different set of eyes.
Yeah. Let me take a look. I'm sure we have something around. I'm just not sure exactly what, but
Sure. Appreciate it.
other dude, what you looking around for anything or are you just shopping?
Jera has already an armload of books, which she can bring up to the counter.
Absolutely, man. Like, yeah, if you can either put them on the counter and I'll just mark them for you and you can keep shopping. If you want to get some more, if you're ready to check out, we can go ahead and do that too, man. Or if you just want to hang out at a table and read for a while, that's also fine with me.
She's just gonna say whatever there's time for and set the books up there. She's got Elevating Perspectives, which has a picture, a line drawing of a man on stilts on the front by Elandra Wind Whisperer. She has Adaptive Enchantments, The Living Magic by Seraphina Brightgem. She has Elemental Conduits, A Comprehensive Guide to Artifice by Thaddeus Runebound. She has Decrypting the Arcane, a practicum on mystical deconstruction, and Cross-Disciplinary Convergence in Architectural Constructs and Furniture Design, Bridging the Divide.
I love it. It's just Chat GPT is so good. It's like it gives me back my freedom. You know, like I could think all of this stuff up and I would get there. It would just take me hours. And instead I go, do you have any books on this? And then just 15 right off the bat.
Well, this may eventually lead to all of us just, acting as conduits for different AIs to play the game, but
That's also a really
we can have our
interesting
fun.
experiment.
Oh,
That'd be an interesting experiment. Can we have Chat GPT as a character in our game?
there's probably some sort of API call app that could do that.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Billy. Billy, is your camera off because you're afraid that we won't like what you look like?
Ah,
That was it. Billy, you've gotten the books. The guy's walked off. He's at the counter with Jera, who is just keeps bringing up more books.
So Billy is going to probably be I'm struggling to play Billy and not Tim in a bookstore, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I think the Prisms of Power, like that'd be the first one that he looks at.
Sure.
How much is that one?
That one in particular is 10 silver.
Oh, okay. These books are cheap. Wow. I mean, is it 10 silver to a gold or 100 silver to a gold?
10.
Okay. So it's a gold. So it's a gold piece. Still, I mean, that's
It's a fifth of your weekly pay. So
no, that's true.
if you make $650 a week, then that book would be $130.
Oh, speaking of which, how much time has passed since the Haunted Doll episode?
2 weeks.
Billy's got money to spare. That's 10 whole gold.
Yeah, how much is it we get paid a week? 5?
5 gold a week.
good dear.
Hey, food's
Yeah. You guys probably heard that louder than I did.
How many weeks have we been at school total? Because there's still 0 money on my character sheet.
that's fitting. You just haven't picked up your paychecks.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't think Jera got any money until exam 2, which was 2 sessions ago, because it went session 8 was the exam 2, and then we went into the haunted, the museum, and then session 9 was the haunted museum and the death of Tobias, and now we're here.
Yeah, so about 3 weeks for you, Jera. So 15 gold is what you should be having.
And I get all my books.
I mean, you could buy all of your books with that 15 gold. It would be all of your 15 gold.
Are all the books 10 silver, or do they vary?
They vary.
All right.
The book that you're reading isn't necessarily a massive book. So it's a little bit on the cheaper-ish side. No,
How
I take
much?
that back. Sorry, I'm thinking the other way around. Yours is on the more expensive end because it is a big book, whereas there are some that are smaller. They tend to range from 1 to 20 silver, depending on.
Okay. The Glassweaver Grimoire.
That one is rather big, so it's also 10.
And silver as well. Okay. Question for you. Just as the DM, we're spending a lot of time for this. I'm kind of wondering if you're going to allow the payoff, i.e., can like I learn new stuff to do from these books? Look, Billy. Can Billy learn?
Yeah.
New techniques. I mean, more so than just like kind of in universe. This is this is how Billy is going to figure out how to do his level 3 glass cannon thing.
No.
I'm getting
And
greedy, but
reverse engineer magical step stools into a set of extendo stilts.
Just out of curiosity, and if this works out, I 100% am going to allow them in the game. I asked ChatGPT to create 3 new spells for Dungeons and Dragons that involve glass weaving as a basis. It came up with the following 3.
Oh my!
Let's see if they are balanced. The first spell, Glass Weaver's Resilience, Abjuration, 2nd level, 1 action, range of self. Components are vocal, somatic, and material, which is a small glass bead. Its concentration up to a minute. With this spell, the caster weaves a shimmering layer of enchanted glass around themselves, granting temporary protection. The glass weave acts as a resilient barrier, granting the caster a +2 bonus to AC for the duration. Additionally, the glass weave provides resistance against slashing and piercing damage. The caster can concentrate on this spell to maintain its effects, and the glass weave can be dismissed at any time as a bonus action. That is a rather well balanced.
I like that.
The next is Prism of Enchantment, which is a transmutation spell, level 4, 1 action, 60 feet. Vocal, somatic, and material, a small prism made of enchanted glass, concentration up to a minute. The caster creates a radiant prism of enchanted glass imbued with the essence of various enchantments. The prism hovers in midair and emits a soft, colorful glow. As a bonus action, the caster can choose an area within range and project a burst of magical energy from the prism. The burst affects all creatures within a 15-foot radius, forcing them to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the targets become charmed or affected by an appropriate enchantment spell of the caster's choice for the duration. The caster can use their action each turn to project additional bursts, affecting more creatures or changing the enchantment effect. Cool.
So that one's obviously not balanced.
Not at all.
What are you talking about? It sounds a little underwhelming, actually.
An enchantment effect of the caster's choice? Okay, I do not like this no camera thing.
I know it's
Like,
really
if we
weird
wanted to play on a phone, we could do that.
Fine.
I've spent more than half the campaign with my head on the table. So like, this is what y'all get to see.
I would rather see that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I had a like massive migraine. I was this close to canceling, but I popped like all the pills in a bottle.
That
I
could
feel
be
better.
I mean, it was just that
Not
it
as-
was just that like everybody was cameras off for a second there.
Well,
Like this
my
trend.
my computer for some reason hates Zoom, and I've spent the past
Yeah.
12 minutes sitting here waiting for it all to load. So the camera was a bit late. Yeah.
It's all good. Billy, the last spell is Shards of Reflection, evocation, 6th level, 1 action, 120 feet. visual, somatic, and material, a shard of reflective glass, and it's instantaneous. The caster channels their magical energy into a shard of reflective glass and hurls it toward a target. Upon impact, the shard shatters into a burst of radiant shards, creating a dazzling display of light and reflections. All creatures within a 30-foot cone originating from the target must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, they take 8d8 radiant damage and are blinded for a minute. On a successful save, they take half damage and are not blinded. Additionally, the area within the cone is filled with shimmering reflections, causing the affected area to be lightly obscured until the end of the caster's next turn. That one's rather balanced for, a 6th level spell.
I was about to say 8d8 for a 6 isn't.
I did expand though on the book that you were looking at, and I am going to copy and paste that for you.
Yeah, I was about to say if you could just like all this stuff. Like I started trying to type it and it's just gibberish.
Oh no. All of this information I will have saved so I can copy it to you. Copy. We are Philip, who came in late. We are Chat GPT shopping right now. I've created stores in Chat GPT and am allowing shopping to happen.
We're currently in a bookstore and it's got like arcane tomes and 100% Billy would have invited you. So if you want to just be here, just be here.
There's some pretty neat footstools as well, if that's the sort of thing you're into.
Oh, we may be shopping at a fantasy IKEA after this. We're still up in the air.
Do they have any books on religion?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. That's
This is just-
really large section also.
I need something for my Bible study later tonight.
Sure. What?
Oh, yeah, by the way, 2 weeks have passed since the last session, which means if you have a job, you have 10 gold. Just
And more
FYI.
gold.
Yeah.
I think that brings me up to 55.
And so far, all the books seem to be around 1 gold piece, give or take a gold piece. So, definitely.
Did we level up at all?
No.
Gotcha. Sounds
Um,
good.
what? The goat man? What are they called? Satyrs? Yeah, the satyr
Fawn.
who owns the place or is running the place at least says, "Well, you know what? Religion is quite a broad subject, my friend.
Yeah.
Could you pare it down just a little bit? I'll see if I can find a book for you."
I like I don't remember his name. He does the healing stuff.
Just healing magic in general.
Yeah, that
There's
sounds
different-
awesome.
there are different worlds in it. I mean, are you looking more like the clerical side of things, like
Yeah, clerical side of things. Yeah, something that's a little, less mathematic, more spiritual.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we got it. He takes you into the back, or closer to the back.
Preferably by a nature god. Something a little more nature, less industrial.
Interesting. So you're kind of bordering on the ideas between druid and cleric worlds. Right in the middle there. Interesting. Are you trying to? Well, what do you want? What do you want the connection to your magic to be? Do you want it to be you're pulling magic from the earth itself? Are you looking at, dabbling in some necromancy, or kind of what's?
Probably not necromancy. My friend Shuvadrin Glint Mantle, I believe, talked about some radiance, that sort of thing. I was just wondering if there is like natural radiance, like you said, bordering on druidic and clerical.
Okay. Yeah. He walks back. He goes past just in a massive section of all different kinds of tomes and religious texts of all different kinds. And he reaches up to one of the higher shelves and hands you a book. It's written by a high priestess whose name is Lyra Whisperleaf. The title is Radiant Reverie, Healing Magic and the Spiritual Connection. Opening up the front cover and reading the flap on there, says it reads, Radiant Reverie is an enchanting and spiritually insightful book that delves into the profound realm of healing magic with a focus of clerical practices deeply rooted in nature and spirituality. Authored by Lyra Whisperleaf, this book serves as a comprehensive guide for clerics and healers seeking to harness the radiant energies of nature gods and merge them with their healing abilities. Within these pages, readers will embark on a transformative journey through the healing arts, exploring the interplay between nature, spirituality, and divine connection.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
I felt like it would, dude. Like what you were describing. I was gonna head over a little bit closer to the like necromantic sessions, but like how you were talking, it sounds more like you're wanting to be kind of, not that necromancy is evil per se, but a lot of people see it as evil. So you wanted something a little bit lighter of a read.
Yeah, I'd like to stay away from necromancy.
Sure. Well, I'll leave you to it. He walks back up to Yorick. Dude, my man, I found some books for you. I actually pulled
Sweet,
them
my
off the
dude.
shelf. I pulled them off the shelf. They're up front. He has 4 books for you. The first is titled Echoes of the Arcane, Unraveling the Secrets of Echo Magic. He's like, this one's going to be more nature, mechanics, and applications. He then hands you another book called Harmony of Echoes, The Art of Echo Manipulation. This is going to be like step-by-step instructions, exercises, case studies.
Okay.
The third one he gives you is Echoes Across Dimensions, Exploring Multiversal Resonance. This is going to be more theoretical on that, more like interplay of planar energies, potential for interdimensional travel and communication, stuff like that. Theoretical frameworks. And then the last one is Echoes of the Soul, Echo Magic and Spiritual Awakening. This is going to be more about like using your echo as a pathway to spiritual awakening, connections between the soul, the collective consciousness, stuff like that.
Sweet. Yeah, sounds perfect.
You want to take them all? You want to borrow them? You want to buy them? What would you like to?
I'll go ahead and buy them. I'll add them to my collection.
Perfect.
I'll lean up like just a little closer. It's like, hey, I got everyone's tab. I'll hand you 20 gold now, and I'll take the change at the end. Just say, some kind of special. It's just tell them.
The other 3 that came in.
Yeah.
Dude, no problem. I'll set your books. Do you want to take them with you? You want to read them, or do you want me to set them back here for everybody together?
I'll just put it together.
Okay. He takes them. He puts them back behind the counter. Can I ask somebody a favor out of the game? Can somebody please just raise their hand, like within screen? Okay. Something keeps happening in the bottom. It like the little raised hand icon pops up every once in a while at the very bottom of my screen. And I didn't know if it was like registering that somebody like raised their hand or something. Well, yeah, of course now I see it. But
You're in the DM spot. There we go.
it's just weird. Like it just kept popping up for a second with like a little timer thing around it, and it threw me off. Started a problem. Okay, so Yorick's gotten his 4 books. We can expand on this. I actually really like this idea because it helps me world build the magic systems, which I'm not just putting in like, write me a book about echoes. Like I'm pulling in like, this is what's happening in the world. This is the history behind it a little bit. And I'm kind of giving it some world building, and then it comes back with a little bit more in-depth world building on that one specific subject, which is
Sweet.
super cool. And in fact, I don't know if either of us have ever used the term glass weaving, but it's perfect.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Chad,
no, it's all glass blowing.
yeah, we've always said glass blowing or glass manipulation or glass magic.
No,
Glass weaving is like,
that's it.
So, um, yeah, that blew my mind. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's genius.
Yeah. no.
Okay, so Yorick has his books. Jara, you are currently sitting amongst a pile of mini books. Are you just, do you have like 3 books open at the same time? And if you got like a finger on 2 pages and then you're reading the one in the middle and you like skip it over?
Yeah, something like that. She might, when she sees other people checking out, she might kind of look around and see all of the books that she's pulled off and realize that there's no way she's going to be able to go to buy them all. And she'll go up to the counter and ask if he's hiring.
Are we hiring? Actually, yeah, we really are. I've been running the counters and I've been running like the upstairs stuff. We've got a couple of people that do the like one-on-one sessions and stuff. But we really need somebody who can like come in and, well, we're really bad at organization.
Well, I'll be completely transparent. I'm not the person you want for that. What do you mean by one-on-one sessions?
They do they have like magical one-on-one sessions. So it's like stuff about like consultations. You know, if you're trying to figure out something in specific disciplines or
So, like talk therapy or
no,
oh,
it's more like say you're writing a paper on like your buddy over there's working on like glass weaving and stuff. If you're writing a paper on something like something more theoretical, we can help you gather information together and create that. Or if you're wanting to work on a new spell, we can kind of work on different ways you can pull from the weave and things like that to help kind of craft that spell for you. Well, we don't do it for you, but we do assist.
sounds like a job that'll certainly be in danger once these magically conscious assistants take off.
That's true, man. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, you're right, man.
Okay, so Jara is going to go back and try to very quickly agonize over which of the at least 26 books that she pulled off the shelf she's going to take.
Yorick, roll me a perception check.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, Billy. No, sorry, not Billy. Yeah, Billy. We're next in order. I'm sorry. I have a running like initiative in my head. So Billy, you've got your books, you're reading through them. Are you wanting to get them? Are you wanting to look at anything in particular about them?
So I'm definitely going to get Prisms of Power by Flameheart and Glassweaver Grimoire.
Okay.
I don't think Billy's interested in the Illusionist one because it's not the direction I saw him going. So I don't think he's interested in that one.
Sure.
The Art of Arcane Glasscraft. He's debating whether or not he wants to also get the Art of Arcane Glasscraft. Is it, well, what is the inside flap say? I guess I should ask.
Which one is that?
That was the first one. That was the one with various authors, Guidebook to Glass Manipulation by Windrider, mainly Limitless Possibilities of Glass via Arcane.
Yeah, so just kind of skimming through the book, you kind of looking at the chapter list, because that's always what I do in textbooks and stuff. It looks like it covers quite a bit of topics, including just an introduction to glass magic, Gain solid foundation in the principles and properties of magical glass, understanding its unique characteristics, potential applications. There's elemental glass manipulation, which is learning to harness the actual elemental forces of fire, water, earth, and air to help shape and mold glass into various forms. There's spell weaving through glass, which is the infusing of spells and enchantments directly into those objects. Illusionary glass work, so it covers a little bit of the illusions and mirages still in there. Divination and scrying, because obviously you think of a looking glass as glass. Glass totems and constructs, bringing things to life. Glass alchemy, which is fusion of glass and alchemical substances to create new properties and effects. You're leaning a little bit more into the inorganic chemistry area there. And then finally, advanced glasswork techniques, dimensional folding, time manipulation, spatial distortion, things like that.
Okay, yeah, no, he'd grab that one too then. How much is that one?
That one is 10 silver. One of the other ones that you were looking at is 10, and then the other two were 5.
You had said Prisms of Power was 10, Glass Weaver Grimoire was 10.
That's
and
right.
Art of
So
Arcana.
then
So
Art
just
of Arcane is 10, and then that last one, the Illusionist. is
illusions. Okay. And that one's, yeah, I don't see him being interested in the illusion aspect of it. He likes the more, he likes the physicality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I see his character. So also I already did a illusion based character and I want to do something.
Sure.
Yeah, he'll grab those 3 books.
Okay. Yorick, you do notice, you mostly hear Jera talking to herself, kind of frantic. She now has a pros and cons list going on why each of these books she should or should not take with her. And you look at her paper and you see that there are almost no cons for any of the books, hence the panic.
There is one that has a lot of cons that really isn't related to any of the other books, but under the pros section for it, she says, I would feel bad if I left this one out and none of the others. Jared sees you looking over her shoulder and she says, I can't do it. Just pick some for me. Pick 3.
Sure. You said out of 26.
But
No.
make sure you get this one, and we have to have this one and these 4. Pick 3.
Yeah, I could definitely make that work. I definitely pull 3 random ones from none of the pile that she put aside that needed to be on there.
She is going to have like a moment completely frozen between her agreeableness and desire to grab the remaining books, and she's going to say really softly, okay, and head up to the counter with the books.
I picked out really good ones. They spoke to me.
Okay. Archie, you've sat down with this book, you've skimmed through it. Any further questions to the DM about the book or any further inquiries you have for other books?
Other books. I've been trying to think about any other books. I don't believe
Have any,
so.
It's fine.
Yes, I don't believe so at the moment.
Okay.
He will want to get a book cover or case for this book so that nobody knows that he's reading about religion.
Sure. They sell plenty of those. They're about 2 silver a piece. And they come
Yeah.
in pretty much any color you could imagine because it is a magical store and you can do that.
Makes sense.
All right. So altogether, we have Yorick's 4 books. We have Jera's 3 books. We have Billy's 3 books, and we have
Actually, I would surprise Jay with 4. I would have grabbed 1 from the pile she separated.
you all line up to check out. You put up your papers and he goes, dudes and dudette, your buddy here has paid for all of your books. So just set them all up and I'll bring them in and we'll be all done, man.
You were supposed to say there was some kind of promotion, and I wasn't involved. But
Thank you, York.
Like Billy would definitely do like the dad walk over to York and just like put a hand on his shoulder and then like try to casually slip him 4 gold. Which is of course one more than he has, but it's just like, no, yeah, you can't. You shouldn't pay for my here's this. Take this.
Give me a sleight of hand.
Oh boy. Oh, I don't have dice. Well, Google roll my dice. What's my sleight of hand? I wasn't ready. Oh crap, it's a -1.
it's okay. York's kind of embarrassed at the moment. Maybe
I rolled a 9, so it's definitely that dad who's trying to be cool at the dinner table and has completely failed. Like coins have fallen.
Archie, as you're walking back up, everybody's kind of gone ahead of you, heading up. So you're the last one that's kind of coming out. Religion is a little bit closer to the back, so you have lots of books to pass on your way forward. And as you're browsing through these stacks, a book falls on the ground next to you. And you could swear it almost seemed to be pushed off of the shelf on its own. It falls open with the title page visible, and you immediately notice it. Notes on the Pub That Crawls, compiled by E. Xenothon. You've never heard of this offer. You can recall other students talking about a legendary moving hut at the end of a pub crawl that supposedly no one has ever completed.
Bet.
Yeah, Archie's gonna pick that up. Yeah, and kind of flip through the pages a little bit.
Sure. Most of it doesn't seem to make sense. It's referring to places you've never heard of, like Waterdeep and Melitus and all different kinds of other places, interspersed with mathematical formulas that seem to be meaningless outside of context. However, written and slanted in one corner of the title page is a short note that does stand out. It says, the pub crawl that crawls is real. Let no one fool you. Visit the 5 pubs in one night and complete the challenges. The way will be revealed and the treasures of many worlds will be yours. The last page has an outdated map of the Weber Haven campus with the 5 pubs labeled.
Oh yeah, this sounds awesome. He'll take it up to the front desk and ask how much for it.
Dude, that book's been for forever. Like, I think it's pretty tattered. It's like a silver, 1 silver.
All right, well, I don't like carrying change. Here's a gold.
No, dude, like, there's a special going on where you in particular, your books are free.
Oh, awesome. Here's a tip, and I'll give him 2 gold.
Alrighty then, thank you. And he'll like slowly take coins back.
Hey guys, what are you doing tonight? And is it a bar crawl?
Jared is going to look at the stack of Archie's books, all about religion and communing with deities, and one about bar crawls, and say, well, I've heard of mixing disciplines before.
He's Catholic.
Yeah, I guess the legal drinking age in this area is like 16, so it's probably frowned upon. But I would totally win it.
You do realize I'm a dwarf, right?
You do realize I'm a big, tall orc?
Yeah, we're gonna do a bar crawl, guys.
You know, I totally did forget you're a dwarf until you said that, though. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
It's a lack of beard.
I really
Yeah.
should study tonight.
Yeah, you
Which
can
one will we start with?
The first one is
I do signal for the librarian dude. It's like for my change.
Oh, he's given you your change. I apologize. He does have your change for you. He was not trying to steal. That was just.
I know. I just how much do I add back? Because I already took out.
Let's see. We have. 6.
For his attempt of trying, I'm also going to match Archie's tip and give him 2 as well.
You are gonna. I'm not kidding. I did the math. You are getting 7 silver back.
Oh, dang. Okay. So let's. Oh, I don't change my gold at all. So
Be
let's just
careful
go.
flashing all that cash. People might not be, sorry if you die in a submarine accident.
It's not. The only reason I like volunteer is like so every like betting competition we've done so far, I've won. So like I got a good chunk of money from that. And it's funny because every time York was just so confident with having the least amount of skill for it, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's definitely this. Like, I win. So like the frog race and then the freaking wizard gizzard.
Okay, so there are 5 pubs spread out across the different campuses. The book doesn't say anything about doing them in a certain particular order, just that there is something that you need to do in each of those pubs to get to the pub that crawls, as so to speak. The 5 are the Frothing Flask, the Tall Tale, the Beauty's Mirror, the Lucid Dreamer, and the Rambling Toad. The idea behind the bar crawl is you have to go to each of these bars, do something in particular at each of them. Once all those 5 are completed and you've completed the pub crawl, the 6th one, which holds all of the treasures and jewels and everything, will be opened to you at that point.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm down. I just need to drop off my books in my library, but yeah, I don't have anything else planned.
What college is York in?
Same one as Billy. What was that? Prismari, I think was it
Prismari.
called? Yeah, Prismari.
Perfect. We'll start in Prismari and work our way clockwise.
Okay. Basically how this is going to work from a gameplay perspective, knowing us, it's probably going to take us 1 session to get through 1 pub. It really shouldn't, but it will.
Yeah, boy.
So it'll work out that as long as you get each pub completed in 1 session, like 1 pub in each session completed, and it doesn't drag over, you'll have time to make it in 1 night. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
So you want to start with, which one do you want to start with? I don't have them in any specific place in the schools. So do any of the names alone sound interesting?
Yeah, so there's one, the toad one. What was that one?
The Rambling Toad.
That'll be the last one, because that'll be, I'm already deciding that's what's it called? Gloom. My school.
Witherbloom.
Witherbloom, yeah. That's Witherbloom. So we'll end on that one because we'll be going in clockwise motion. So
Okay.
Whatever order makes that one last.
I feel like Prismari is going to have the Beauty's Mirror.
That, yeah, sounds about right.
I'm not sure why I feel that way, but I do.
The
Actors.
charismatic ones.
Prismari people are a little bit shallow.
Like that one really hot guy. What was his name? Quintilius.
Yeah.
Hate that guy. He's so hot.
Well, like the first session, like I wanted to like him, and then I was like, "Oh, this guy's cool." And then immediately in the next session, where he just started being a bullet, like, "Okay, I hate this guy now."
I'm not even sure why I created him that way, because like how he's written in the books is so not like that. But it just seems to really fit that character. I'm not sure why. And his picture, just he looks like a douche.
Yeah, he's a little. Yeah.
He's just too handsome.
All right. We have kids to put to bed in just a few minutes. So let's take a break until 35. We'll jump back into it. Thing.
Would like to see the AI distinguish between me and the character though. Sometimes John doesn't, so.
This is true. I just take everything you say as it's in your character, which is why we end up with such weird canon sometimes.
But what is the point of the character voice if it doesn't like,
Well,
I mean, it's
character voices in my campaigns are relatively up to the individual's choice. It's you don't need to do it. It's
Some of us suck.
yeah.
I suck.
Most of
well, I
my
definitely suck at
characters-
whatever I'm trying to do with Jera. I apologize for all
It
of
sounds Scottish, like if that's what you're going for.
Well, it's supposed to be West Country British, but
Well, I mean, if you just go a little more west, you're
to
in-
Ireland. Or-
yeah, it'd be Ireland. I mean, I guess west, north, west.
It's supposed to be sort of like the, Dorset, Somerset, or that area, a bit Samwise Gamgee, but more north of there.
I can't carry it, Mr. Frodo,
It's not.
but I can carry you.
I definitely like. I've spent a lot more time practicing the Scottish accent, so I would slide in that direction quite a bit.
Which one did we say we were going to start with?
The beauty's mirror
That's right.
in Prismar.
Let's pull up our Roll20 because I have the maps.
Oh, I don't have that pulled up.
But I need to find your characters. You guys are more than likely going to be in Captain Dapplewing's manor. There's 3 of you, at least.
I'd say me and CJ were occupied being bros, and
Yeah. I don't think I brought you guys to this map, so I'm gonna have to copy you guys and paste you in to Beauty's Mirror. Just gonna pop you right there. And then where is your other characters gonna be? Let's see. Hey, look, all of you. Oh, and the frog.
oof.
Oof. Oof is right. Is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Who's that? Oh, we don't want her. All right. Please.
Just don't
pause.
let York know you lost that mug. Because he'll be sad.
And I think I remembered to fix the lighting already. So I guess we're going to find out because I'm switching you over to that window now.
I can see.
I see everything.
Oh, good.
I can move my character.
Perfect. All right. Let's pull this up. So you guys make it over to Prismari, where the Beauty's Mirror lies. This building seems to flow out of the ground like a rolling wave, a burst of magma, or both. More than anything, it resembles a giant nautilus shell encrusted with iridescent coral. It offers intoxicating drinks to spur the imagination, as well as stimulating coffees and teas for those who are ready to sharpen their senses after a long night. The pub even sports a dedicated studio for the artistically inclined to use whenever inspiration may strike, and artworks ranging from traditional to exotic line the walls and decorate the long communal tables. It's an organic Art Nouveau style. The floors as you enter are a patchwork of polished wood planks. The flowing walls and swirling ceilings are made of thick coral. The exterior, as you saw when you walked in, hosts a bevy of scintillating colors, while the interior ones are monochrome off-white, actually, which better to draw attention to the myriad hanging artworks. The windows on the ground floor are large panes that do not open, while those on the upper floors are small portholes that can open just enough to emit a tiny or smaller creature, teeny tiny. And all are magically hardened against shattering because college. The front doors are clear glass, but all the others are made from an artistically warped wood, though those two common areas have embedded glass windows as well. There's a coat of arms that hangs on the front door. It's a half-closed eye whose lids are spiny clamshells. Yeah, that's kind of what you walk into. So, yeah. You walk in, the main bartender is standing behind, you head into the first little room, which is the front room. The front door, as I said, is made of a thick, clear glass, and the whole room is visible from the outside through large translucent picture windows colored coral, azure, and periwinkle. There are some ferns and flowering plants in here that explode with color and give off sweet, sappy scents. The din of conversation from the gallery, visible through the large opening, carries easily into this room, but there is only one occupant, Belena. She sits behind the bar. She's a sylph with cyan skin, insectile wings, and hair that looks like cotton candy. She sips a large mug of mulled wine and eyes anyone who enters, but does not speak unless spoken to.
Hello.
Hello.
Guys, real quick, side hustle. Are we doing shots or drinks at each pub?
Side hustle.
Did your book say what we needed to
Side
do?
huddle. Well, the book has other things to do. I'm just wondering about for the actual pub crawl version of the evening.
We have to drink.
You could do water if you'd like. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything.
I mean, I'm used to ale with my meals, but I mean, I'm down for a shot myself.
All right, he works with me.
It's college. I'll do shots.
All right, Billy. Jared, no pressure.
Oh, I could have a drink.
You know
Legal
what,
drinking age in my hometown is 7.5.
I'll pay the tab, but I'll go get us a table real quick. So I'm just gonna find it. I know it's empty, but I'm just like, I'm gonna spend time to figure out like what I think is the best table for us to sit at.
Sure. She is the bartender. She asks, there's plenty of tables all around. Basically, from the look of the map here, you guys are in this room here. This is kind of the entryway. This long section in the center here looks like a wall. It's not actually a wall. This is actually the bar. So I guess I could add like a little character for her just so you guys can see where she is. That might be helpful.
What was the entryway again? Sorry.
I believe
this
right
room.
behind me.
Yep, this room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll just add another character just so that you can kind of see where she is. Click and click and click. All right, so yeah. Can I? No, I can't. Okay. So she's behind the bar. There's a small door behind her, but everything else goes through this door on the side here. And it spirals upward. All of these are little stairs in between every single place. That's the gallery. It's a series of terraces, each with a long, irregular stone slab of a table jagged on the ends as if carved from the same giant block. Numerous centerpieces made of fluctuating water, ice, magma, and sand, but they're safe to touch. Canvases along the walls depict people, landscapes, and abstract features. Openings along the interior wall lead to a studio, which is that center area of the map. There are small windows arrayed irregularly along the outside. Behind the bartender is the kitchen. That's what this other separated room is here. As you start to walk past her, she says, "Oh, so we're not drinking?"
Sure. You have ale?
Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Is there anything in particular that fits your mood? We have mixed drinks, which is of course listed here, and she hands you a menu. The menu is separated into 4 categories: mixed drinks, tea and coffee, wines, and light fare. At the very bottom of the menu is it's called signature drink. It's called the wine of inspiration. So what brings you all into the bar?
A bar crawl.
Bar crawl?
A crawling pub crawl. The treasure of 1,000 nations.
Ah,
Promises of adventure.
without skipping,
Procrastinating homework.
she breaks into verse. A pub that crawls, to enter a price must be paid. Along this crawl, it's 5 pieces we laid. To craft a draft that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel, these pieces to mend.
Yours gonna like because he ran past to find a table and he's gonna hear he said something. Then gonna come back. Hey, that sounded important. What was that again?
We have to draw a picture of a margarita glass. I don't know.
Oh yeah, sorry. Could you repeat that again? I was reading the book.
I did post it into chat just so you have it, but
Oh,
she said
sweet.
a pub that crawls, to enter, a price must be paid. Along this crawl, it's 5 pieces we laid. To craft a draft that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel, these pieces to mend.
I suppose our
So-
question should be then, where in this pub is the first of the 5 pieces, and how do we obtain it?
All that I can tell you is that there are materials in the studio.
Sweet. Sounds good. Can we get 5 shots?
5 shots. Okay.
I would like the wine of inspiration. Does that come in shots?
It doesn't. It's a wine, but you can have it.
Nothing wrong
Well-
with a long sip between shots.
What's this world's version of Jaeger?
Uh,
What's this world's version of White Claw? No.
this is so
I-
okay. No. This I was gonna say this place is not a Jaeger place. It's really not. It's a ritzy little fluttery bar. What it really does have though is White Claw. Like if this was gonna have a place like it was gonna have a seltzer. The drinks that they have though that are mixed, and the one shot that's on their menu is the Enchanted Elixir. It is elderflower liqueur, a splash of sparkling wine, and a splash of citrus, and it is garnished with an edible flower. Other drinks that they have is the Whispering Breeze, Twilight Sangria, Moonlight Mule, and the Stardust Spritzer, which is their version of a White Claw. And then, of course, they have their specialty drink, tea and coffees, wines, and some light fare.
All right. Can we get 5 Moonlight Mules? Hold everything but the vodka in there. Neat, please.
Uh,
I've ordered 5 shots of vodka.
sure. They're going to be 3 silver each.
I will cover it.
So 15 silver or 1.5 gold.
Yeah, let's do 1.5 gold.
I'm paying the next one.
It's fine with me. I'm just gonna keep offering until other people say otherwise. So.
Oh, and she's gonna say, oh, and for you, dear, the wine of inspiration is 7 silver.
That's very
Hey, you said-
expensive.
Yeah, I
Okay.
should say.
I will fork over 7 silver.
Okay,
Question for the DM.
sure.
Are you going to hold us to reasonable expectations of body mass and inebriation?
I do have a table for inebriation.
Does it include anything about being literally less than 40 pounds?
It's based off of your constitution, which is typically based on size in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I wonder if there is a halfling or gnome like version of shots that people order.
I wonder if there are.
Yeah, it's ones that cost more for less.
Probably.
It's less of a
That's
shot.
how,
but
that's
more
how
fun.
real snazzy bars are.
I'm just
Uh,
picturing a shot of vodka being like the equivalent of drinking half a bottle of vodka. And I think that even Jera isn't that impulsive.
I should imagine York, like, because he didn't hear what the order was. He takes a sip. He's like, "Ah, potato." Just calls it out immediately.
okay, so you find a table.
Oh yeah, I picked up the table. It was. I'm standing there.
Is it a good table? Are you sure that's the table you want?
I wanted not the immediate one coming in the entrance, and enough where we
Okay.
don't get stared at by the bartender, but not weirdly
She
as far
doesn't
back as
seem-
possible.
She doesn't seem like the kind of person that would just stare at you.
Right, and it's more like if we wanted to have a private conversation, we would feel better about it.
She
That's
really is
going
kind of
to-
just a calming presence. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. I don't ever like to sit right in the front of a restaurant either, to be honest. Okay, so you guys go to the table, go boop, and I don't know where Jera went. Where the heck did Jera go? Oh, Jera hasn't moved. There's Jera. Okay.
Yeah, it still hasn't loaded for me for some reason.
Odd.
I just have a black screen. It says
Huh.
load. I'll refresh. Hey,
I'll
look,
make sure that
black screen.
it's still a black screen.
Well, now it's gathering steam instead of load. Wait, it still says loading.
Does that make it easier? Does that make it better?
No. Wait. Nope, it wasn't my dark reader extension. Don't know what it is.
One moment. I can probably fix it. Did that change anything?
Oh, not that I can see.
Well, I've done everything that I can do on my end.
Now it's recalculating splines. Oh, I see a map.
All right. So there were two weird
Hey.
things about your character that I couldn't figure out why they were on and off. One is that the Jera Shiny Water token did not represent Jera Shiny Water, so your character didn't have anything that you could actually be looking at. Second, for whatever reason, your vision was turned off.
Ah.
That'll do it.
So I fixed that. Okay. So here you are. You're all sitting down with your shots of vodka. Your mules hold everything but the vodka. Which is a
expect that
great way
come
to
in a
order a
mule
drink. by
glass
the way.
still.
You what?
I imagine they're still like in the mule's glass. Like they typically have like a
Yeah.
metal container for them.
Oh, for sure. Okay. You guys are sitting around at this table. There's a bustling. There's some people gathered. You know, it's still kind of early in the evening, but still people are gathered around. What would you like to do?
Stare York straight in the eye and slam it down upside down the glass.
Like I paused. It's like, was that more of an inviting, or was that like you're challenging me? Something was going on here. I just need to know how I need to retaliate on this shot.
He'll just look at your glass and then look back up at you.
Yeah, I'll go back to. I'll just slam the shot down and mimic what you did to the best
Good.
that he could.
Great.
Speaking of pub crawls, this episode of Dungeons and Dragons is brought to you by Rocket Popsicle Hard Seltzer from Untitled Art, brewed and canned by Untitled Art in Wanaki, Wisconsin. It's delicious. Anyway,
All right. So
guys
there's
are drinking?
there's a studio here, right, guys?
there is a studio. It's in the center.
Craft to Druck.
Here is how inebriation works. With every, okay, so you're gonna roll a Constitution saving throw. If you are 0 to 50 pounds, you have a -1 to that roll. Or sorry, -2 to that roll. 50 to 100, you have a -1. 100 to 150, you have a 0. 150 to 200, you have a +1. And 200 to 250, you have a +2. So remember what your plus or minus is. So if your Constitution is like a +3 and you weigh 50 pounds, it's only a +1 now.
I was just asking you to check in.
And then, so that's the basic table. After every drink, with every drink that you drink, so if you have your first drink, it's just your basic. Your second drink is going to be a -1 to that, and every drink thereafter is going to be a -1 to that roll. So if you're on 8 drinks, you're going to be a, whatever your rules are, -8. So the further that you go, the more likely it is that you're going to get drunk, if that makes sense. And then there are 5 intoxication levels, and we will get there if we get there.
As a dwarf, I have advantage on saves against poison, resistance against poison damage. Does that count for inebriation since alcohol is a poison?
Yeah, you would have advantage on your roll.
Heck yeah. I'm a big
Um,
boy.
Also, it just seems fitting that dwarves would, you know. Okay, so if you've taken your shot, you have a Constitution saving roll to take, or your drink. So everybody's had a drink. Yep. And so I wonder how it's gonna write that one in.
I guess.
Jera is just going to kind of consider her mule glass and sip her wine and pour her shot into Yorick's when he's done.
Okay. You
Just
have
be like,
pluses, you have your pluses and minuses as corrected
make good choices.
for your weight.
No, mine's 13.
13.
Right.
Okay.
What was the plus or minus for 135-ish pounds?
0.
All right, I got a 16.
Our dear friend Billy.
Got a 25.
Oh
Dude,
my God.
Okay, I'll stop for just a second. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah,
Continue.
you're
on.
fine. And Jera.
For the wine,
Yes. It counts as a drink. If you haven't finished it or you want to roll it later on, that's fine.
might
Let's
as-
go on to this. Can this be smaller? This can be smaller. Okay, perfect.
that's gonna be 12, I think.
Okay. As you guys are drinking your drinks or having taken your shot and sitting there like a dingus with nothing in their hands to drink, you peer into the studio. The room is filled with paintings, sculptures, and other works of art. The majority depict bottles filled with a swirling red and blue liquid. Centered against the back wall is a painting of Brie Peregrine, the cafe's legendary founder. This portrait is not particularly realistic, featuring garish abstract colors. It visibly moves as if scanning the room's contents. Next to it is a dingy copper mirror that seems in need of good polish. that moves. The painting is looking back and forth without looking up, just kind of back and forth, scanning.
Is the painting making any sort of gesture or holding its, like, is the figure holding a hand out in some way?
No, it's really just staring, kind of just looking around the room, kind of with a bemused look on its face. Almost like it's just, I don't know, like just curious about what's happening in the room, kind of entertained by it.
On the map, there are 5 objects in the studio room.
Yes. Those are they're just like different pieces of artwork. So there are shelves and bins among the work of art with various raw materials. There's sheets of paper, hide canvases, ink quills, charcoal sticks, jars of pigment. There's large metal drums with the stuff to make elemental works, sand, stones, chunks of ice, burning magma. There's even one that contains, or seems to contain, arcing bolts of electricity. If anybody wants to kind of step down in there and take a closer look, let me know. If you guys just want to sit around, that's also fine. Okay, so Billy and Yorick, since you were the two that raised your hand first, you can give me, if you just want to scan the room, give me perception. If you want to look for, like, look in depth at like a piece of artwork, give me investigation.
I went towards, I assume the 5 little pillars here are the artworks.
Sure, yeah.
So what would that one be? That's just the one that I went.
Okay. I want you to roll me. This will be kind of fun. Roll me 3 d10s.
Not a D20. Okay.
Yeah,
Darn.
3 d10s, and then I will. I'll tell you if you need a 4th.
All right. For the record, a D20 for my investigation would have been like a 23. So.
Oh no! For your investigation, give me those.
Oh.
So go ahead.
Okay.
So you said it's like 20.
Yeah, it was a 18, 22 for
Okay.
investigation with a D20. So I rolled 3 D10s. I rolled no pluses, right? Just straight
No, just
D10s. A 6, a 10, and a 10.
Okay, and then give me one more.
A 4.
A 4. Okay.
Pretty good spread.
So you are looking at an impressionist sculpture portrait. It's kind of interesting. It's impressionist, so it's large, it's highly detailed, but it's a sculpture, so it's really almost like a bust in a sense, but it's like a self-portrait bust. Very beautiful, if you really think about very, very well done artwork. Yorick, you got something, an 18 on your investigation. Okay. Looking a little bit deeper, you look at another piece, and it's a simplistic charcoal sketch of a smiling bearded man. Noticing the artwork that Billy's looking at, you see that they are clearly depictions of the same person.
I was about to talk to Billy, but hey Billy, did you catch that?
Okay. Billy's on the run now.
So the thing that York also would have like been curious about was like, and then you said like what, there's like a pillar of like electricity or something along that line.
Yeah,
then-
there's a bucket of artwork pieces and like things to sculpt with, and one of them is a bucket of electricity, which wouldn't make any sense anywhere else in the world, but in D&D it makes perfect sense.
Oh, okay. So that was like, okay. To be used for artwork. I got you.
Yes.
Billy, do you notice that these are a unique taste of the same person? Well, I thought he was going to speak.
He
Billy.
is entranced by the artwork.
I'll go to a different one and see if the same thing seems like, to see if this guy is everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of scan around the room and you notice that though all of the pieces are various works of art, it is rather clear that the most common subject of the pieces here is a bottle, a ship, or some other literal vessel for things to be held.
I just say that out loud to Billy, and I'm just kind of taking it all in.
What do you say out loud to Billy and presumably anyone else in earshot that might also want to play the game?
I was saying, like, well, we were seeing like different types of vessels, like a ship and that kind of thing. And then I saw that smiling man was a common theme as well. What was it? Did you say it was a dwarf, or did you?
I didn't specify.
Oh, okay. I imagine just. Oh, I think it was just bearded. I think he.
He's
as
actually
guy-
whatever the elephant people are called. You know, he's one of those.
Loxodons.
Well, I'm sure everyone's already thought it, but just so that it's on the table and we can look at it. 5 pieces laid, 5 works of art, 5 pieces.
Along this crawl, it's 5 pieces we laid. Maybe it's 1 piece from each pub, though. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's what I thought at first. In fact, that's what I still think. But
Right. On.
also, it's 5 pieces.
But maybe we just need. Okay. I don't know.
You have to depict a vessel.
Yeah, these pieces to mend. So I guess the pieces we put together to depict the vessel.
But the words could each mean more than one thing. And you'd presume when you go to the other pubs that they'd have their own poems.
Maybe.
So maybe we're getting the meta overview, but also specific information for what we need to do here.
Right
If
on.
we don't think we have everything we need here, we need to keep looking for more clues, don't we?
Right. Does anybody know what this electricity is for?
I will attempt to pick up electricity, and I'm gonna attempt, like, what I have in my head is LARPing lightning bolt, and I want to throw a lightning bolt at a blank canvas.
Okay.
Attempt to throw a lightning. I don't even know if it is a lightning. I see electricity. I'm attempting to grab a lightning bolt and throwing it at a canvas.
Okay. Sure.
Maybe help guide it with my
It
what
feels,
knowledge I do have of electricity.
you know how it feels like that little fake gum thing that would shock you if you pulled on it?
Mhm.
Feeling in your hand. That's what it feels like
Mhm.
when you reach into this bucket. It's about that same strength. It's not painful per se, but it is, pardon the pun, shocking. I that was the word that popped into my head, and then I realized it's a pun. So I had to say that I wasn't trying to actually say a pun. It just happened to be a pun. You pick it up, you set up a canvas across the room, and you chuck it, and it has left a scorch mark on the canvas.
I'm going to try to portray to Archie and Jara that was 100% intentional, and I think that scorch mark is a beautiful work of art.
Billy would definitely like see that and immediately get excited and be like, York, okay, here's a barrel of sand. Do that to this and like hold up a barrel like sideways so that way York could shoot a lightning bolt into it.
Ooh.
And Billy's got a lot of trust in York's aim on this one.
Yeah, now that you're holding it, so I have a little more control and feel a little less. That's probably a good time to dispel my armor that's made of metal. And then I guess I'll try to lightning bolt into the sand, bucket of sand that Billy is holding onto after my shot of vodka.
Sure. You throw the electricity into the barrel, and with a shock, Billy, it does startle you, but you don't drop it. And you look down, and in the sand is a lightning bolt of glass.
So does it actually look like a fulgurite?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, Billy would definitely pull that out and be like show it off to York, be like, oh, look at this. Like he's brushing sand off the side of it.
That's pretty cool.
And I want like all the
That
branches.
is very neat. It doesn't look like a cup though.
Actually they can be hollow, so technically you could drink out of it. And he like holds it upside down.
What if it's the stem to a very large coupe?
Could be.
Yeah. No. He says
Maybe.
yeah.
Could
Okay. All right.
So far we've created a burnt canvas and the stem to a large coupe.
These other pieces of artwork, were they they're all different like styles, correct?
Yeah, there's 4 styles that you can point out. One is the realist. It's like a realist painting of a bottle that changes based on one's vantage point. You have the impressionist sculpture portrait. You have a cubist print depicting a pub that makes small movements all by itself. And lastly, you have a surrealist drawing of a ship composed of churning elemental matter.
In what way does the painting of the cup change?
It's a pub.
Oh.
P.
Sorry, yeah. In what way does that change as you move around?
It's almost like the artwork that like a zoetrope almost. Not even that really. What's that called when you have like the 2 images that lay on each other and you turn it back and forth? It turns to 2 different images. What is that called? Anyway, that essentially, but without the actual moving thing. It's just the piece itself seems to be turning and back and forth as you walk across the room.
Okay, so it's like the whole thing is rotating almost like a 3D model.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, cool.
But it only moves when you move with it.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we've got to at least try it. I'm going to look around for some sort of writing implement, something that makes a little bit more intuitive sense to me for drawing on a canvas than a bucket of light.
Oh, there's plenty. There's paint, there's oils, there's charcoal, pencils, pens, you name it.
So Jara does have some experience with drawing.
Okay.
She's going to gravitate towards the pencils, especially since they're erasable, and go to one of the canvases, and she's going to position it in a more, well, looking at the 5 pieces of art, I don't see any like directly empty space, but in a more open area in view of all the things. And she is going to quickly sketch a cup and a ship and an impression of the guy in the picture. Just scattershot approach. Vessel, what else could be a vessel? A quick little sketch of the bucket of lightning. I'm
Bucket of
depicting
sand.
vessels.
Bucket of sand
Sure.
or barrel of sand.
Nothing in particular seems to be happening. Like, I mean, everything is just going on as it normally is. Just you are currently also sketching things.
Hmm.
Y'all didn't have to stop what you were doing. I just thought we should try that.
Tim is deep in thought, and I promise you it's because he's researching whatever that stupid piece of art is that I was just talking about.
And I can't. I think it's called a hologram, but like, there's not a specific. I can't find the. I'm not going to be able to get to sleep.
Is it a lenticular print?
It's a lenticular print.
Guys are beautiful people.
I got it.
Should have gone straight to ChatGPT.
I got it first. I win.
I just scrolled on Google. I had holograms that look different depending on the angle. And that was a Wikipedia article about halfway down, which is crazy because usually it's the first option. This
So-
is my one tangent of the
That's
of
fine.
the session.
You're allowed. So of the so you have these pieces of artwork. You have the poem from the beginning. Let's step out of our characters for a moment. What are you guys thinking is the solution to this? I'll kind of cover all of our bases again, just so you guys aren't
I
missing.
want the ship to somehow be.
Well, I think the fact that you're asking this question answers the main question that was in my mind, which is if we bothered to gather all the clues to actually solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I say yeah is because as I wrote this one, I recognized that it might be a little bit vague. So without just giving you the answer, I'm going to try and see if we can get there together. If that makes sense. So everything that you have in the room, like I said, you have paintings, sculptures, other works of art in a realist, impressionist, cubist, or surrealist style. And Yorick has noticed that the most common subject of all of the pieces there is some sort of vessel. You have a painting of the cafe's founder on the wall who is scanning the room's contents. You have a dingy copper mirror right next to that seems to be in need of good polish. And what else is in the room? I think that's about it. And then, of course, the actual clue, like the poem. To craft a draft that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel, these pieces to mend. So what are people's ideas of what this might be as a solution?
Did I go first?
Uh,
Go ahead.
oh, just a quick question. The name of the pub was the Beautiful Mirror.
The Beauty's Mirror.
Beauty's Mirror. Okay. Well, for what it's worth, I think maybe the mirror has something to do with it. to depict the vessel?
I mean, there was a few, humanoid pictures, kind of. Maybe they're all looking at what we need to get. Maybe their eyesight is in the same direction.
Interesting. You look at the different pieces of artwork. Anything that's depicting a person in particular. If you kind of direct where their eyes are going roughly, it seems that they're either looking at the back wall, at the painting of the owner, or at the mirror itself. You're not exactly sure where, but in that general area. Nothing's looking in the opposite direction. Nothing's looking out one of the doors.
Is
But they are vaguely looking similar. Okay.
Does giving the mirror a good spit shine do anything? As Archie.
is there any polish material in the, like you said, there's a whole bunch of stuff
There's nothing that's like specifically labeled as like
polish.
metal polish, but there are rags and things like that that you could use to
Yeah.
polish something. Archie kind of, I think, feels the same way as you and goes up and polishes this mirror. Nothing magical or anything seems to happen, but it is a very crisp mirror. And when you look at yourself in it, there's a little glimmer, just the ding out of the corner of your eye when you look at it.
I think, like, if Yorick was watching them do that, and then I was like trying to chase their eyesight and see that mirror may potentially be something, and they haven't figured anything out, I'm gonna see if it could swivel or be pushed, and see if something on like pulled, and see if something's behind it potentially.
So I should describe this a little bit better. It's on an easel. So I mean, you
Oh.
can see what's behind it. It's not a very large mirror. You're talking maybe a foot wide and 2 feet tall.
Hey, what if someone brings a vessel over here to see it in the mirror?
Jera is holding her wine of inspiration glass. Just any vessel?
Maybe. What about that picture of the ship? Is that big?
It's rather, I mean, everything fits on an easel. This isn't a massive room, so
Mhm.
it's maybe 3 or 4 feet across by 2 feet tall.
Can Archie
So,
angle
we
the
as-
mirror so that's pointing towards that? Maybe.
Sure. What was Jared doing? Sorry.
Did we establish for all of us that each of the paintings could be said to depict a vessel?
Yeah, just about everything. Well, actually, everything in this room is some form of vessel. A ship, a bottle, a person, a cup, things like that. Everything can hold something else. The stuff that's in here that doesn't depict a vessel are like blank canvases. They're are pieces of art, like art materials that you can use.
So what we have here in the poem, to craft a draft that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel these pieces to mend. So that's either saying that the pieces mend a vessel, a specific one. So we need to depict, that means create an image of, right? Is there another use of that word? To show an image of?
Yeah, to show, to make, to.
You could depict in, by acting out a play. I mean, you could depict in, it just means make a picture. So are we supposed to determine which of the vessels we see need to be mended by the 5 pieces?
I mean, does the 5 pieces not refer, like, because the previous part says along this crawl, it's 5 pieces we laid.
Right.
So like I was thinking there's one piece here and then the next one there'll be another one, and then so on and so forth until we reach the end, and then we'll have 5 pieces that we put together, and that's how we pay into the final pub.
Well, if that's the case, though, how can we derive information from the 5 pieces? How can we decide which vessel the 5 pieces will mend here to solve this puzzle if those, or at least 4 of those pieces, are unavailable to us?
Well, see, my thinking is you're under the operation that this is like step 1, but like we just chose this pub randomly, right? So each pub probably has either the same poem, or like is not step 1, step 2, step 3, like linear, but just random pieces of the puzzle, and we do each individual part by itself to combine them.
Right. I mean, first, for us, since this is where we are, the first piece. But we have a poem about 5 pieces, and we have the arrangement of the room. I don't think we can rule out anything in the poem as being relevant to the puzzle unless we know the solution to the puzzle.
So what if
Although I have been
this-
dismissing the price must be paid.
yeah, what if this this poem is in different sections? So we have a pub that crawls to enter, price must be paid. That's section 1. Along this crawl, it's 5 pieces we laid. That's section 2. And section 3, to craft a draught that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel these pieces to mend. So what if we need to separate the first half from the last half, and the last half is here?
I mean,
So to craft a draft that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel.
but then these pieces to mend would refer, like these pieces, wouldn't that refer to the 5 pieces in the first part? So along this column, 5 pieces we laid, yada yada yada. These pieces to mend.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what it said to me right away, which was there's
Reaction.
5 pubs. Each one has a piece that when you bring all these pieces together, they'll make a vessel in which a magical drink will appear that we will drink, and it will teleport us to the crawling pub. That's
Right.
an interpretation. But if that's the only interpretation, it doesn't give us much in the way of solving this puzzle. You see what I mean? Because then the only part that's relevant to us is, I mean, if it's the same poem in all of the pubs, you know, if that's the case, then we should be ignoring it, looking around at the room, taking our clues there. But depiction and pieces and art, it really seems to relate to what I'm looking at.
Okay, but then what's it telling you to do? I mean, unlike Billy's gonna be like, and shrug and go and grab a canvas or just like scrap piece of paper, whatever, and a pencil, charcoal, whatever. It is literally just gonna draw, a big U, and then a stick, and then a small U, upside down U. So it's kind of
See, that's why I tried that first.
see what it does.
Question for the DM or for Jared's mind. You mentioned cubist, surrealist. What were the genres?
Cubist, surrealist, impressionist, and cubist, impressionist, surrealist, and realist.
Okay, so
Realist?
that's 4 styles for 5 pieces.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there a specific style that would strike me as an omission here, like that I need to mend something missing by covering another style of art?
No, nothing seems to stick out in that sense. But taking kind of a tally of the things that are around the room, the thing that there is the most of are bottles and cups. The thing that there is the least of are portraits.
What's broken? There's my question. What needs to be mended?
Maybe I've been hanging in Prismari for a while, so we hear this, edgy crap. But maybe you look at that mirror and what needs to mend is yourself. Or whatever these kids say, I don't know.
Just because I know this is a difficult puzzle, Yorick is going to get inspiration for that.
Yeah, boy. Adding it on my thing now. Bam.
I guess you could say what needs to be mended is the hole in our understanding of this puzzle. What would mend that? Well, I could drink more alcohol and I'd feel better about it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do I need to drink 5 of them? Because I'm not gonna. I would die.
You'd be all right. You probably wish you were dead if you didn't have some water, but nah.
All right, so let's look at the specific wording that I wrote down exactly when she recited it. To craft a draft that will take you to the end, you must depict the vessel these pieces to mend. So I could go to a canvas and I could depict any vessel, but I'm looking for the answer, the solution. The key seems to be which is the vessel that the 5 pieces laid along the crawl, or perhaps ignoring that and looking at it in sections, as Archie astutely suggested. We take these pieces to be literal and separate from the 5 pieces laid along the path.
I am so sorry, everybody. I knew this was kind of vague. I did not know it was going to be this hard.
Yeah, can I run an etymology check on the word depict?
Would you believe that
You
I
know what?
have that Google already pulled up?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Okay,
yes,
well,
I would
Tim,
believe
what
that.
has your research shown about the etymology of to depict, or what is the definition of to depict?
Completely to paint. So picked is in painting, apparently, from Latin.
To show or represent by a drawing, painting, or other art form.
Now, it does say an extended sense to portray in words / describe, which I think
Sure.
would get close to the depicting, like I think Andrew had said, a play. I was
So-
like, oh, yeah, you're depicting a character. It counts. So I thought that was fun.
Okay, so how mobile is the mirror?
You can move the mirror around anywhere you want.
And
Well,
portrait-
I'll just go and set up the mirror. Can I arrange the pieces so that the only painting which seems to have any level of perception, being the man, can see in the mirror all of the 4 paintings, the 4 other pieces?
The man, which one is that? The person in the painting that is looking around the room is a woman.
Oh,
The other ones are of bearded men.
well, it should be reasonably possible for them all to be able to see each other.
Yes.
and yeah, and they were all like looking towards the painting. There was the back wall. What was else in that general direction?
For the mirror. I mean, they were all kind of right next to it. I mean, the painting is on the back wall and the mirror is directly next to that painting. So
I'll just go ahead and arrange them all in a selfie so that they can see each other and jump in there myself, smile with some thumbs up, hold it for an awkward amount of time and say, well, that didn't work.
While
Unless
he
that
does
works.
that, just for S's and G's, so Yorick doesn't feel like he's just standing there. He's going to attempt to just like, paint the selfie with the materials there. I'm expecting nothing to happen, but he still wants to give it a shot to make it look like he's doing something, grasping at straws.
Sure. You finish painting the selfie, and after a moment, you turn the painting around to show Jara her painting with the statues and the other painting in the background. The painting behind her begins to laugh and falls off of the wall, revealing a bottle of the original vintage of the pub's signature drink, the wine of inspiration, and a glass for each of you.
I'm gonna do.
Oh,
something.
nice.
Jara will stare at the wall, mouth kind of hanging open, and just as an offhanded move, just dump out the drink that's in the glass she has.
So, it's probably pretty obvious on Yorick's face that laugh actually really hurt his pride on his painting.
No, it was like a joyous laughter. It wasn't like a laughing.
okay.
It was like a joyous laughter.
Okay, then the 25, he's happy with his painting. I rolled at disadvantage, so okay. I'm like, oh, cool.
Good job.
Thanks.
Great, we solved it. What was the solution?
We will go ahead and end our session there for tonight. So I
No, I-
will